First screen on this, you can't talk about Ccleaner unless you actually have it installed on your system. I recommend that you use the portable version. And if you download and install the portable version, you can put that onto a flash drive and you can take it from one computer to the other. Since the download comes in a zip format, it needs to be uncompressed. If you don't know how to uncompress it or need a program to do the uncompressing, I can highly recommend 7-zip. And I've also put a link on how to download 7-zip. If you decide to install the full version of Ccleaner to your computer rather than the portable version, I have some tips after you've done the install and while you're doing the install to get rid of as much of the garbage that you really don't want on your computer. And when I say garbage, is I don't like pop-ups. I don't like too much hype. I just want the program to do what it's meant to do. The next little video will show you how you should be installing if you're installing the full version.
This little tutorial will cover the installation of Ccleaner version 5.7.1 and some privacy and other setting changes after the installation that should be followed. Number 1, always use custom. Default will install whatever the company wants to install. Customize will allow you to choose what to install and what to bypass. I personally don't need a desktop shortcut. All the other options are useful and will stay. Click on More. I want it to be installed just for me since I'm the only one on this computer. Now we can go ahead and hit the install. Bypass viewing the release notes. Next, we'll select Run Ccleaner. Close this one up. Options, Privacy, and what you want to uncheck is Help Improve the App, Upgrades, and offers from third parties. That will stop the pop-ups. One more thing to do in the options. I like to use my Ccleaner on demand. I don't want it to be resident. I don't want it to automatically do any cleaning for me. So to fix that, go into Smart Cleaning and uncheck Tell me when there are junk files to clean, and uncheck Enable Smart Cleaning. Yes, it'll warn you because it likes to be resident. I don't want it that way. I'll do my cleaning on demand when I want to clean garbage. Are you sure you want to do this? The answer is yes. That takes care of all the changes that I'm going to make. You are now ready to use Ccleaner, and I recommend that you use the default settings. They're perfectly safe. They'll clean out all the garbage for you, and you'll have probably a slightly faster running computer. That's it for the settings changes and the custom installation of Ccleaner. Stay safe, be free. I hope this helps.
Now to get to what we actually want to talk about, and that's tools built into Ccleaner. And we're going to do a combination of this slideshow or PowerPoint, and we're actually going to work within Ccleaner itself. First tool on here is the Registry Cleaner. So let me open up Ccleaner. And you see something here called Registry. Click on it. And from here, you can clean your registry, getting rid of the stuff in the registry that you shouldn't or don't really need. And it's another way to help speed things up. One word of caution, registry changes, if you make the wrong changes, can adversely affect your computer. You could wind up with a system that will not restart. Default settings are usually pretty darn safe. I haven't run into any problems, but if you start making many changes, you could wind up making the wrong change. The first part of this is a scan. It just scans your registry and looks for things that really don't need to be there or that are amiss. So hit the button to say scan, and it's now doing a scan on my computer. Nothing happens until I say review selected issues. When I hit the review selected issues, the first thing that pops up and says, do you want to back up the registry before making any changes? And I very, very highly recommend that you say yes to this. Because if you've made some changes and for some reason you have a problem in restarting the system, if you didn't make any backup, well, you're going to be out of luck. If you've made a backup, you can get back into your system, maybe not the normal way, but you can do a different way of booting into the system, and you can restore your registry to where it was before changes were made. So always say yes to doing a backup. Once you do that, then you can go ahead and start actually cleaning out the items themselves. You review them and you clean them. I will not be doing any of that during this demonstration. The next part in Ccleaner has to do with uninstalling programs. Yes, you have something within Windows where you can uninstall the programs that are installed, but you have some extra options in the tool within Ccleaner. Again, let's switch over to Ccleaner, and this time we go to Tools, and the first one is the Uninstall. From here, you can uninstall programs. You can also repair, rename, and delete. So that's one of the tools, and the first one you run into in Ccleaner in the tool portion of the program. Next on the list, sometimes you'd kind of like to know what are all the programs on your computer. And one thing you can do is to create a listing of all the programs in your computer. Back to Ccleaner, still in the uninstall portion, but you'll notice something here that says save to a text file. If I click this, it will create a file called install.txt. You can name this anything you please, and you can save it to wherever you want. I've set it up so it will save this file to my desktop. So let's go ahead and save it. I can then go to my desktop. Whoops, I hid my desktop icons. There's the installed text file. And if I open it, I now have a listing of all of the programs installed on my computer with information as to when they were installed, what the versions are, and all the other goodies. Nice little reference to keep around. Next item is also a limited software updater built into Ccleaner in the tools. Let's go and see that one. Software updater. The first tab on this tells you whether or not any of the programs that it checks actually need to be updated. The next tab over, you can see what programs it keeps tabs on. If you had the paid version, this list would be a heck of a lot bigger. I guess you get what you pay for. This is just an added bonus, and you get more in the paid version. Refresh simply means to refresh and do another check to see if there are any other programs on your system that it keeps tabs on. Next has to do with controlling startup. Gives you the ability to manage the programs that start when the systems start. Also lets you control scheduled task and context menu items. And context menu are the right-click items. Anytime you open something, you do a right-click and you get a context menu. Let's go back to the program again. Startup. As I said, the first one gives you a listing of all the items that are starting up when the system starts. And from here, you can select one and you can enable it, disable it, delete it. Be careful, because this is not only in the startup folder, these are also registry items that you're looking at. So be careful what you select and what you decide you think you don't really need. Next comes scheduled tasks, things that are scheduled to run on a regular basis. You may notice there's one on here that says Ccleaner weekly scan. We'll cover that toward the end. Again, you can select them and then you can disable or re-enable, delete. Next item on here is context menu, and that's the right click. And last but not least are all your Windows services that start. So there's lots and lots of information that you can get, all part of Ccleaner. Browser plugins gives you the ability to manage extensions and plugins in all of your browsers in one place. Whoops. Browser plugins. You noticed this one says Internet Explorer, and I don't know why, because I don't have Internet Explorer installed. I don't know whether this is Edge. The other one it has on here is Google Chrome, which is my main browser. I don't have Firefox installed. If you did and that was yours, that would also show up. But you can see from here that you have lots and lots of plugins, and you can control them directly from here. Enable, disable, and delete. You can also, if you want to, save this as a text file. So you again have a listing, which you then, if you wanted to, can print out of all of the internet, of the plugins that are running on your browser. Next thing is a disk analyzer, a simple disk analyzer that scans all the data in your PC and shows it in a pie chart style. This makes it easy to see which of the programs are taking the most space and get rid of the unrequired ones. And back to the program, disk analyzer. Hit the button and you can see you have things that you can either include or not include. You can do just for the main. I have a secondary drive that I use as my backup drive, which isn't going to get scanned anyway. But if you do the analyze, takes a couple of seconds. And it breaks it down in categories. Over here, you have all the individual items, what they are and how much, what the size is. And up on top, it's broken down pictures and how much it uses, music, videos, and other files. So a quick little glimpse of how the space on your hard drive is being utilized. And of course, you can from here get rid of items. Duplicate Finder, a powerful tool that allows you to find and delete duplicate files on your PC. It also has some handy ignore buttons that make it very safe. In my opinion, Ccleaner Duplicate Finder is more advanced and safer than many dedicated duplicate file finder programs. Let's go back to the program. Duplicate Finder. As you can see, there are many settings in here where you can allow or disallow, ignore, check for name, size, modified date, content, select or exclude. I'm not going to run this because it takes a while to get all this stuff together, but it will show you all files that are duplicated. And then it's up to you to decide which ones you want to keep duplicate because they may be in different folders, and which ones you really don't need to keep in more than one space. Now, we've got quite a bit of time, so let's go ahead and do a search. That wasn't so bad. All right, now it gives me a listing. As you can see, boom, boom, and it compares them by size, everything else, and I can decide which ones do I want to keep, which ones do I want to get rid of. I can also save this information, again, to a text file. And if I make a choice, then the next thing it'll be available is delete the selected items. A powerful tool, all part and parcel, part of what's included in Ccleaner, and really, well, I guess you would say this is a way of cleaning out some of this stuff. System Restore. This keeps tabs on your system restore points, and it easily removes any you no longer need. Back to the program. System Restore. Oh, that's nice. It tells me I don't have any. And there should have been some. But I also just did an update on something. Hopefully that's not what wiped them out, but I will find that out after we finish with the presentation. But this will give you a listing of all the restore points on your system, and you can then choose which ones to get rid of. And you can get rid of multiple items at one time. Drive wiper. When you delete a file, it actually isn't deleted. The operating system just makes it as deleted and shows the space as free to keep the deletion process fast. When you add more data, this data is then overridden by the new data. That usually takes, though, quite some time for it to actually happen. A recovery program like Recuva, which is also from the same people that make Ccleaner, and I posted a link for it, can easily extract this deleted data, which could, in some instances, be a huge security risk. Driver Wiper permanently deletes this data and ensures your deleted data is unrecoverable. You can either wipe free space on your PC or permanently delete all the data in case you're selling or disposing of your hard drive. Back to the program. Driver Wiper. Here you select which drive. You can get rid of either free space or the entire drive. And then you can select how much you want to overwrite that drive. If you're about to get rid of it or turn it over to someone else to use, you can go as far as 35 passes to overwrite the current data. If that's what you select, once you start the process, simply leave your computer, come back a day or two later, and it may have been finished with the overwrite. But I can guarantee you that once that's done, there isn't going to be a program that's going to reconstruct that information. Needless to say, it is not something I'm going to be doing and demonstrating right now. I like my computer much too much for that. Once you've made your selections, hit the white button and kiss that hard drive goodbye. You can also select to run Ccleaner on a schedule. You set up a schedule and let Ccleaner do the cleanup tasks on a schedule that you've set up. Do this only after you've customized Ccleaner as to what you want cleaned on a regular or scheduled basis. And this isn't available in the free version. It's a paid product. However, I have a different way of doing it, so we can, even in the free version, still do a scheduled wipe. Since the scheduled scans aren't allowed in the free version of Ccleaner, we'll use the task scheduler in Windows 10 to accomplish that task. And whoops, and this is how it works. We're going to set up a schedule to do an automatic or a scheduled run of Ccleaner. Since I'm using the free version of Ccleaner, the scheduler within Ccleaner doesn't work. So we're going to use the task scheduler in Windows to make that possible. And this is how it works. The easiest way to get to the task scheduler is through the search function. Just simply type task, and you see it pops up, task scheduler. Click on it. Once it opens, you want to select Task Scheduler Library. From here, select Create a Basic Task. In the name field, enter something meaningful like Ccleaner Weekly Scan. Hit the Next button. Select Weekly. Next, select your start time, and we'll do this every Saturday. And the time we want it to start on, let's pick a nice time like 7 a.m. Recur every single week. So we've now set it up. First will be tomorrow. It'll start at 7 a.m. and it'll repeat every week on Saturday. Select Next. Under the action, you want to start a program. Next, select the program, click on Browse. In my case, Ccleaner is on the desktop under the Utilities folder, and then it's in Ccleaner 576 and Ccleaner exe. In the Add Argument option, you want to add / and type auto, AUTO. Once that's done, click Next, select Open the Properties dialog for this task when I click Finish, and then click on Finish. When this opens, you want to select Run with Highest Privileges, and then select OK. Now, if you go back and you look at your listing, you'll see that Ccleaner Weekly Scan has now been set up. That's all it takes to bypass the restriction in effect if you're using the free version, so you still get to do your weekly cleaning or your scheduled cleaning even though you're using the free version. Stay safe, be free. I hope this helps. We're going to set up a schedule to do an automatic or a scheduled run. We're going to set up one more thing to show you. You can actually create a desktop shortcut to do a cleanup whenever you click on that shortcut. I set up one called Auto Clean, and let me show you how that's done. So we get out of this. I'm any place on a blank spot on your desktop, do a right click. From here, select Create a Shortcut. Okay, where are we? Sorry, select New and then select Shortcut. And once you do this, the location, we have to browse for it. As I said, what I'm looking for is the desktop. And I'm in Utilities. And then it's Ccleaner. Ccleaner exe. Okay. We have to add one little item to this, a space. And auto, AUTO. And then next. Say finish. And you now see a button. And when I select this, it will run Ccleaner with the settings that I've already set up in Ccleaner. And you'll be able to see it. If you keep your eye down here, it's going to show you Ccleaner in a minute and it'll be running. So select it, allow it to run. No, that's not what it was supposed to do. Best laid plans of mice and men. When you're doing things live, you're bound to run into something you didn't expect. Okay, there's the auto clean. Select it, allow it to run. And you now see it down here, it's running. Ccleaner is cleaning. 40%. And it's finished doing its job. It just that simple, and you're ready to go just by the click on the shortcut. That is the end of this presentation. Thank you for attending. A little information about how you can reach me. And I'm going to get out of this and be happy to answer whatever questions you may have.
Thanks, Bob. We do have some questions, and I will give those to you. Does the portable version allow the same customization options you recommend as the installed version?
No, because it doesn't have all those things in it. Actually, I can, again, share my screen because I'm using the, that'll make it easier. We have the time to do that, so. You'll notice that it doesn't have under options. Let's go in and see privacy. So the options are there. They're turned off. I didn't turn them off, but you have the same things here that you had in the other one. Everything is the same as it would be in the full version, but you don't have some of the toolbars and stuff. You'll find some differences in here between the full version. This is one of the things you turn off. This doesn't run in the background because it's the portable version. So there are some differences. You can go back in and check some of those things. You could run this in the background. I don't know why you would. Hopefully that answers that question.
Okay. There's quite a bit of questions about the registry, so I'll start with this one, and probably your response will may answer some of the other ones. I've been advised never to clean registry. Risk not worth benefit.
Totally agree with you. I showed you the feature. It didn't say that I use it, and I don't. The time saved by cleaning the registry amounts to next to nothing. The danger of something going wrong is a heck of a lot greater. And if there is a problem, to get back to normalcy will way outweigh any time saving that you might have accomplished by cleaning the registry. So it is a feature, it is there. I've been told it's very safe. I do not use it.
And the subsequent comment by someone else says, creating a system restore point before making registry changes is a good idea. I would say I would agree.
So will I. You have the option to back up the registry. But the registry alone, if you can't get to the system, isn't going to help you much. If you had a restore point, you could always boot off a boot drive, and you can still then restore a restore point. So yes, it's a great idea.
Is it necessary to buy the paid version? What are the benefits for choosing?
What I demonstrated everything on was the free and the portable version. So do you have to buy it? No. Some advantages, you have a built-in scheduler, and there are some other cleanups that you can do in the paid version that aren't available in the free version. I personally have never used the paid version. I've always used their free version.
I think this is a matter of semantics, but the question is, what is the difference between uninstall and delete in Ccleaner?
Sometimes when you do an uninstall, for some reason, the entry doesn't get removed. Delete simply removes the entry. It is not an uninstall.
Again, another question on the registry. Your registry scanned shows 100 plus problems that you did not allow to automatically be fixed. How would I know which ones to accept and which ones to skip?
If you don't know which ones to pick and which ones to avoid, then my suggestion would be don't do anything. Those entries in there aren't going to harm you. Selecting and cleaning the wrong one will definitely hurt you. Hopefully that makes it clear.
Bob, what is the advantage of Ccleaner's 64-bit over the 32-bit version?
If you're using a 64-bit operating system, you want to use the 64-bit. If you're using a 32-bit, you can't use the 64. It has to be the 32-bit. You can run the 32-bit in a 64 operating system, although I don't know why you would. One is faster, one is, and it's based on your actual capabilities of your computer.
How many instances of system restore do you recommend keeping? 2 or 3?
Depends on the time between them. You could have more than one system restore point happening in a day. If you have updates going through, you could have several of them. Okay, so you're looking for a time span. I'd say you'd have to have at least a week's worth of restore points.
I think this question has to do with Renuva. How does it wipe out the, how does it wipe out the drive? How does it work? What does CC Live when wiping out the data?
Recuva is something that recovers information. It doesn't wipe out anything. It recovers.
Okay, that might be my bad. I think you were talking about something in Ccleaner about it being able to
wipe your drive.
Right.
It overwrites the information. It doesn't erase, it overwrites. And if you overwrite it often enough, you can't restore what was underneath it. And it can overwrite up to 35 times. At that point, go ahead and write something on a piece of paper and then scribble over it 35 times. You won't be able to make out what's underneath, no matter what you try to use.
The shortcuts in Ccleaner that are embedded, won't it break when the cleaner is updated?
Say that again?
The shortcuts Ccleaner and Ccleaner version that are embedded, I guess the ones that you create, will they break when Ccleaner is updated?
No,
Because I think you created a shortcut.
created one. That one, yes, because it's specific to a version. So if I install another one and it changes the folder where it's located, then of course that shortcut wouldn't work.
Can I change settings when Ccleaner is already installed?
Yes. Just go into your settings and make those changes. And you should make changes so that you only clean what you want to clean. You can also do some changes with what it deletes or gets rid of. Some things you might want to hold on to, especially when it comes to things like passwords, some cookies, some types of cookies. And you can do all of that within the changes or the settings.
I run Ccleaner constantly throughout the day. Is that too much?
In my opinion, yes. I run Ccleaner maybe once a week, but I only run it on demand. I don't have it resident. I imagine that that person who asked the question may have the paid version. I'm not here to sell the product, not the paid version.
I installed a new version. Must you delete the old version of Ccleaner?
It automatically gets rid of it.
Are other installer programs such as Revo Uninstaller better than Ccleaner?
Revo Uninstaller is primarily there to do one function. Within Ccleaner, this is one of many, many functions. I imagine that Revo Uninstaller probably digs deeper than Ccleaner will for cleaning out garbage.
Do you recommend Ccleaner for iPads and Android phones?
I can't say yes or no because I don't own either of them. So I have never had the opportunity to use it on the Apple ecosystem.
I like Ccleaner and have used it for years. When I bought the Avast Ultimate after your presentation to us, I let my Ccleaner subscription lapse because I thought I would be getting Ccleaner with Ultimate. What am I missing?
You're missing the part that Ccleaner can do. Now, if you have the Ultimate, you already have I believe, a built-in cleaner within Avast. I don't use that product at all. I much rather use Ccleaner. You can always install the free version of Ccleaner.
I have Ccleaner Professional on my PC and Android phone. They don't seem to be the same. Are they supposed to be different?
Yes, two different operating systems.
And then someone says, please mention that you have to turn off all browsers before running Ccleaner.
You'll get a warning when you do your cleaning that it must turn off your browsers. Otherwise, it can't do the cleaning because part of what it cleans is the garbage in your browser. So if you forget to turn it off, it will let you know that before it can do its job, it will turn that browser off for you. And the reason you get the warning is you might be working on something in a browser. So finish up what you're doing and then allow it to clean it, to close the browser for you.
Yeah, so when we say turn off, I think they really mean close the program.
Right.
What does health check do?
Try to sell you some other products. I didn't say that.
I run the free version of both Ccleaner and Glary utilities on a weekly basis. I guess he's wondering if there's a conflict.
No, there isn't a conflict, but to me, it's overkill. They pretty much do the same thing.
Another comment, talk about using Ccleaner on your smartphone and Chromebook.
Again, it cleans up garbage, mainly online stuff, because on a Chromebook, you're doing everything online. And lots of garbage builds up in the background, and this just removes it.
I'm sure the Avast Ccleaner is a good program. Are there any similar programs already in Windows 10? Or I also have WebRoot from Best Buy. Don't want to duplicate programs.
And comment on WebRoot. Don't use the product. Are there similar products in Windows? Windows has a cleanup program that does a pretty good job of cleaning up garbage on your computer, but it doesn't do the same thing when it comes to cleaning up the browser garbage that's accumulated.
Do you update to the newest version of Ccleaner every time a new release comes out? Do you uninstall the old version before installing the new?
I update. I don't. Because it lets you know when there's a new version available. And if you use the update, you don't have to do anything except the update. Your settings stay just the way they are. There's no uninstall that has to be done. It updates the old version to the newest one. And that's the best way of doing it.
A while ago, I decided to use tools, delete duplicates. The amount of files shown was overwhelming. Is there a way to select just the top file of each set of duplicates? Otherwise, it will take a lifetime to go through the set.
Unfortunately, no, you have to select each one. And that's pretty much for safety reasons. I don't know if in the paid version, there might be a difference where you can select everything and only unselect certain items. That I don't know. I know in the free version, you have to select what you want to get rid of.
And then this is just a compliment on using the scheduling function in the free version through the Windows. There was a thank you for that. I think we did comment on the health check. You want to repeat what you said?
Health check checks on many, many things, and hopefully it'll find something where it can get you to buy one of the other products that Avast offers. Remember that Ccleaner, Piriform, the company that makes Ccleaner, is an Avast company. Avast purchased Piriform some years back.
Does this cleanup inside the file manager do similar things as Ccleaner? I think you alluded to that.
Part of it, yes, and part of it, no.
All right, and
to the fella who said thank you for the scheduler, I wound up doing that about 5 o'clock last night because I was going to show off the scheduler, and then found out to my surprise, well, wait a minute, this is only available in the paid version. And then I said, no, there's got to be another way. And then, yeah, of course, you can use the built-in feature in Windows. And actually, you can set up many things through that function. It doesn't only pertain to Ccleaner.
Will Ccleaner slow down my browser activities by also cleaning my shortcuts, default settings, and other friendly cookies?
If you don't make the proper settings in Ccleaner and you allow it to get rid of things you don't want to get rid of, then the answer is yes. You can, within Ccleaner, make the adjustments so that you save your friendly cookies and that you don't wipe out the things you really don't want to get rid of. Same thing if you do a cleanup within the browser itself. You have to make certain adjustments so it doesn't erase what you don't want to get rid of.
Does Ccleaner run on any Linux distros?
Not that I know of.
And a comment, Registry Cleaner always seems to find a number of files which I chose to delete, yet Ccleaner finds them again next time I run it. Is it really doing anything?
Is it really doing anything? If it finds them, it means that they're still there. Should you be deleting them? Again, it's up to you whether you want to use that part of the program. I do not.